Welcome again to another episode of Big Brand MMA Podcast 63, UFC San Antonio, Vera versus Sandhagen. Last but not least for the day, finally getting it out of the way. UFC. Hopefully have some good bets. What is there to say? I've already broke down this card on Couch Warriors podcast. So I'll treat this. I was meant to treat this as kind of like a final bet with extensive research and then just finalize everything. But yeah, still some fights that I haven't really finalized. It's Saturday, it's a nice day outside. I thought if I don't do the podcast now, I won't do it. So yeah, maybe tune in on my Twitter or Sherdog, see where I actually post my final bets. But yeah, let's get into it. Vincius Salvador, Victor Altamirano. Pick 'em fight. I think ultimately I was leaning towards Vincius. I think he's young. I think he's underrated. He's 26. A lot of people crapping on him due to his regional footage and whatnot. I mean, he's fought some good guys in the regionals as well as bad. Like I said, I think he's young. He's one of those Brazilians with some raw talent. He's got power. Carries it late. I leaned him initially, but the more I thought about it, I just think when I live bet it, I'm not going to force a pick 'em line. I think it's pretty close to pick 'em as it is. See how he holds up, how he looks in his debut, and then go from there. I think Altamirano is pretty low level in terms of flyweight in the UFC. He's got okay volume, but they're both hittable. They both got bad takedown defense. So yeah, didn't bother looking into this one for the second time. The under potentially, but the under is juiced now, so I'll pass. CJ Vergara, Daniel Da Silva. This is the one that I thought I might have the most plays on. I don't know why there was no props. There was no props on this fight till like yesterday for me. I said I would play anything better than minus 200. You can get minus 200 on some books. It's pretty borderline for me. I mean, Vergara should finish Da Silva in under minus 2 in under 1.5 rounds. He works the body, he pressures, all the stuff that Da Silva hates. I see people think maybe Da Silva can win in round 1. I don't know, maybe a sub, I guess. CJ was cracked by a different Silva on the regionals, another guy that hits very hard, and he ended up, finishing him late. He dropped him in round 2. Jacob Silva, the guy that was in Contender Series twice, he ran through Bruno Correa with a body shot. He almost got Ode out of there at the end. He hurt Clayton Rodriguez in the second with a body shot. So he's a dangerous guy. I think, at best Da Silva can, maybe get a takedown, get some back control. But I think CJ's improved with his ground game. Did a well defending Tyra's ground onslaught. So it's just how you want to play it. I'm still close to playing the minus 200 under 1.5. I mean, the one time Silva went into round 2, that was due to having a lot of ground time with Molina. I think Molina's crap. And, then, the first punch that landed in round 2, he was done. And once he gets dropped, he just kind of gives up. Throws up a couple of submission attempts and then just gets ground and pounded out. And, he got finished by Victor Altamirano, the most decision-based fighter in the UFC. So if he can finish him with a strike to the body, anyone can. So ultimately, I played some CJ 1 and 2, rounds 1 and 2. It was just on points bet. There was an even better line. It was CJ and under 2.5 rounds at $1.80, so pretty close to pick 'em. Unfortunately, that happened just half an hour before I went live, so I missed out on it because I ended up playing it on Neds. Just CJ round 1 and 2. Played 850 to win 739. So just a little bit over half a unit to win, essentially half a unit. I think that's less exposure than playing the juiced under 1.5. I do favor CJ being the most likely guy to finish this. I think he might get dropped. He might be in some early spots against Da Silva like usual, but I just think he's going to rally back and finish Da Silva. He mentioned in his interview round 2 KO is the ideal outcome for him, whatever that means. Maybe that means he will be a bit safe in the first. But yeah, he's in his hometown. The crowd's going to be going crazy. I don't think Silva is going to be able to compose himself with the crowd. CJ's going to want to put on the show. So yeah, just got some rounds 1 and 2 for CJ. Trevin Giles, Preston Parsons. Yeah, pick 'em fight. Like a lot of Trevin Giles fights, hard to get a read, very volatile. The guy's good, fluid striker, good grappler. He just makes mistakes, gets knocked out, gets submitted. Yeah, I did retape this one, and I still don't have an opinion. Could go either way. Parsons finished in all his losses. Whenever he takes a step up, he loses. His best win is Evan Elder, short notice, upper weight class. Yeah, hard to get a read. I get people playing him. He's relentless with the wrestling. He's probably improving. He's young, and Giles always prone to make a mistake. Got taken down by Lewis Coshead the one time he actually attempted a takedown in rounds 3. But yeah, just who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? I can see Parson getting this takedown. I can see him losing position. I can see Giles making a mistake, losing position. I can see him lighting up Parsons. I can see him getting dropped. I can see both the guys getting dropped. Yeah, just a volatile fight. Like a lot of Giles fights, just look to live bet it before round 3. Giles seems to have the worst round 3 and a really good round 1 usually. So who knows? No hot takes. Alrighty. Stephen Ocho Peterson versus Lucas Alexander. Let me just address the comments. Georgia Gennaro, Big Steve, the Marab breakdowns. Thank you, Matt. Thank you. Not a fan of Marab, but that's fine. I'll take it. Gugabe metrics. I wish I knew what that means, mate. Vera hasn't been finished in 27 fights, but as metrics guy, I'm taking the under 4.5. Yeah, that's a Gugabe play right there. I'm not against it. You never know. Corey Sandhagen ended up finishing an extremely durable Sandhagen song. Anything's possible. UFC betting experience, welcome. Parsons round 3. Giles known to shit the bed in round 3. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, but I'd rather live bet it. I'd rather live bet it if it's 1-1, just in case he wins a decision. Stephen Peterson, Lucas Alexander. Right, so I definitely retape this one. Money coming in on Alexander, which I found interesting. I have been contemplating laying the juice on Stephen Peterson all week, so this was definitely one I had a reason to retape. And after taping, I felt like this is a step down for Peterson. What he does well, pressures and grapples, cage pushes, is going to work well against Alexander. Alexander fought nobodies. He doesn't really have much power, mostly just chips away. People that he's knocked out: Ty Johnson 5-4, Reginald Mack 3-1, Jacob Kilburn via broken forearm, blocking a head kick. These guys are just attritional damage. They just fall over against the cage and just give up. With little level. Other than that, mostly decisions. He's been finished himself. He's still, I heard on retaping the second time, I heard on commentary team that apparently he's a black belt when he was going back and forth with Carlos Guerra on Island fights. He's a black belt. I found that interesting. Yeah, he's. I understand money coming in on Peterson. If this goes to a decision, I can see this being like a moments versus control of Peterson versus the volume and damage of Alexander in the center of the octagon. But I just think he can't avoid getting pushed up against the cage. He showed some good footwork against Kilburn and Brito early, but eventually he got crowded, and he always gets crowded in every single fight. So he tries to fight, go laterally left and right, and Peterson's pretty bad at cutting off the cage. But, he's still taken down and back almost rear naked choke Caceres in the first round. Backpacked, the sets, Pena, Rosa. And people like Caceres, they're a lot better with their movement. They've got that karate movement in and out, a lot more fleet-footed. Alexander tries, but like I said, he always gets corralled. What I ended up playing here was Peterson submission or decision, $2.10. So slight plus money. Put a half unit on it. If he ends up getting a KO here via spinning back fist or something, so be it. But yeah, ultimately I couldn't lay the juice on Peterson. I just think it's a step down for Lucas Alexander. But Peterson is hittable enough that if Alexander can keep getting up after being taken down, he does show good get ups, albeit against low level opposition. If that can happen, I think maybe it's a sweaty decision with Lucas Alexander doing all the damage, all the strikes, Peterson getting bloodied up like usual. So if that happens, I'd rather have a half a unit sprinkle on the plus money on Peterson than lay the juice. Like 65%, which I think is accurate. So yeah, Peterson hopefully gets a round one sub. He loves the guillotine. He loves jumping on the back. Hopefully Alexander gives it up. It's the same player. I'll play Brito against him because he was still making the same mistakes. So yeah, Peterson, submission decision plus money, half a unit. Let's go. John Gia 954. Keep up the great work. Thank you, mate. I will do it for you. What's next? Daniel Pineda, Tucker Lutz. Yeah, interesting fight. I really don't rate Lutz. His best win is a washed and retiring, whatever his name is. I can't remember the guy's name. Aguilar, that's his best win. Other than that, really low level of competition. On Contender Series and on the regional scene, he's a decision machine. He wants to take down, not much power. Pineda coming in looking quite juiced in his hometown. He's dangerous early. Yeah, I can't touch this. Hopefully, good live bet. What's Pineda round one? $7.50. Maybe you play that. I think there's a bit of a skill gap, a decent skill gap here. I think this is a step down for Pineda. He's looked like crap. I agree. Against people like Touchy-Feely, who was ranked at one point, and Cup Swanson. So this is a step down against a guy with no power that might want to grapple, and they might put himself in Pineda's hands to be submitted. It's just Pineda's so washed, but if you're going to play him, play him maybe like a round one. He looks good. He looked good on the weigh-ins. So he's either taking it seriously or he's back on the juice. So yeah, big pass fight here. Look to live bet it. I don't even know if I can play, Lutz finish props, because I feel like this could be a low output affair where Pineda doesn't really get tired and Lutz doesn't really turn it on, and it just goes to a decision, and Pineda could win his first decision. Now he was about to win a decision against Georgi Karatarian in Bellator. I see everyone saying never won a decision. He was absolutely ragdolling Georgi, and he had an up kick and cut his brow, and that was a KO loss due to cut, but he was dominating. That would have been probably a 30-27 if he went to decision. So I think you can beat Lutz here. There's a bit of value there, but yeah, I'm not interested. He can be taken down. He just gasses so quickly. So pass fight for me. Look to live bet. Speaking of pass fights, Chidi and Chukwani, Albert Derive. Originally, I said it was a pass fight, and still a pass fight. I was kind of warming up to Derive. The more I think about it, I think Chidi's been outperforming himself recently in the UFC. Getting some early round one knockouts against durable guys like Barriol and whatnot. When he didn't get a knockout, against Mario Sosa, he still dominated. But I think Derive's better than Mario Sosa. I think he still has some kud in him. We finally saw that against Gregory Rodriguez. Yeah, I wanted to play, Derive. I just feel like if he doesn't get knocked out, if he goes into rounds 2 and 3, I guess Chidi can land the body kicks. But yeah, ultimately, I just remembered how bad Derive is at range. Everything that he eats, he reacts badly to it. He gets dropped by leg kicks all the time. Kopylov and on Contender Series. He panic shoots. And doesn't do much on the outside. And he's going to be at Chidi's mercy here. So yeah, I'm just still passing. The unders. What are the unders? Like I said, I feel like Chidi's been getting a little bit lucky with all his finishes. He does have one-shot KO power. I agree with that. His round one is horrible. $3.50. The under 1.5 is Pick'em. I guess I could see it. I mean, Buckley went over, Kopilov went over. Yeah, it's just a fight I don't really want a part of. Chitty KO decision. Chitty KO decision is $1.80 if you like his side. I don't see him subbing Derive, even though he went for it against Dushka. Yeah, that's an interesting one. That gives you a nice money line play there. Yeah, but I think I'm thinking I'm gonna pass. Let's move on. All right, Alex Perez, Manel Cap. Now this is the fight that I really wanted to retape properly. I barely taped it because I heard Perez was going to pull out. So I didn't bother for the original podcast, and I was going to do it for this podcast, but I just ended up doing, Ocho Peterson fights and Trevin Giles fights, and a little bit of Holly Holm, and then just didn't get a chance before having to go live. So still need to look into this one. I see people saying there's value in Perez. I see people saying there's people hammering Carp. Carp's been good. Carp. I've laid the juice on Carp against Zalgas. I laid the juice on him against Dvorak. And I think people are just, they're wary of how he fights, and they're wary that they might get robbed with his IQ and whatnot. But when he's fighting people like Zalgas and Dvorak, that's a levels fight. That's a levels fight. So even though he might do some things bad and give up some minutes, he still levels above these fighters. Like, he's a ranked fighter, and Dvorak and Zalgas, don't think so. So yeah, and he's gone to close decisions with Pantoja and Nicola, but these guys again, level fights. He usually knocks people out. So I feel like I get what people are saying about laying the juice on Carp. I think it could be another levels fight with Perez. Perez it's just hard to tell. It could be like Dvorak, just another guy that kind of weaseled his way into the rankings by beating Jose Torres, Eric Shelton, Jordan Espinoza, Formiga with calf kicks. And that's it. Those are his best wins. De La Rosa decision. Knocked out by Benavidez, knocked out by Figueiredo, finished by Pantoja, but he was hurt first on the feet. So I completely understand, people laying the juice, and I guess I understand people laying Perez, but I don't know if I will. If anything, I'll sprinkle a little bit Perez decision. But this is one I have to retape. So keep an eye on the Twitter. I'll retape it after the podcast. It's just, like I said, I wouldn't be able to do the pod if I didn't do it now. Manel finish plus money, not bad. Perez decision. Yeah, I'll look into this one. Don't want to talk too much without revisiting. Andrea Lee, Macy Barber. Yeah, no way I can lay the juice on Barber. Maybe round through a decision. Andrea Lee, she's going to be the minute winner on the outside. She's going to be the less physical girl. She'll be easy to take down like usual. Yeah, dog or pass for me. I just don't have the courage. Rather live bet it. If it's 1-1, if Lee's fighting great, if she fights like she fought in the Carvillo fight, she showed me best get-ups and the best takedown defense she's shown so far. But after that, she just went back to spinning, doing bad stuff against Viviana Araujo and still getting taken down easy. So Barber doesn't really cover her price a lot of the time, but she's going to clinch and be physical if she needs the rounds. She's going to turn that on in rounds 3, which is a good live betting spot like usual. So yeah, nothing amazing I can give you. I guess Andrea Lee by decision is the value play. But yeah, pass fight at the moment. Alrighty, Nate Lamb, we are Austin Lingo. So I've got 800 on Lingo here, which is essentially half a unit for me at plus 200. I dropped my pen. Going back and taping, a lot of Landwehr's career, he gets dropped by everyone. Knocked out by Burns, knocked out by Erosa, dropped by a lot of the Russians in the regional scene, getting cracked by Elkins, getting cracked by Onama. Surprisingly, didn't get cracked too much by Klein, but Klein is a head case himself. So yeah, I thought Lingo was a no-brainer. The guy he's pretty one-dimensional, but his boxing, it's pretty straight down the line. Jabs. I was trying to say something smart there, but completely fumbled it. Jabs and straights and power, hooks, works the body, right? It's what you want against someone as hittable as Nate Landwehr. You don't want any fancy stuff. You just want clean boxing and pressure, because Landwehr will come out with his hands low and he's going to get his reads. While he's getting his reads early, he's got no defense whatsoever. So this one I haven't retaped. I remember having some buyer's remorse after taping the Onama fight and the Klein fight, seeing Nate Landwehr maybe having some improved defense. And then right after thinking that Onama sparked him, but Onama's got a lot more power than Lingo in my opinion, and he's a lot crazy, bigger reach and closes the distance quicker. So yeah, I'm still leaning like this maybe a levels fight. Nate might have some issues early, and then he'll work into the fight and prove that he's the much better fighter. But I still, at this line against such a hittable guy, I might just have to leave the Lingo, half a unit to win a unit, and then jump out live. But I was also thinking maybe just leave it all, no plays, and then just wait to enter live against Nate for maximum profit. But we'll see. Keep an eye out on the Twitter for that one. But yeah, no way you can play Nate at this price. He's a dog play, not a favorite play. What's the over-unders here? And the other 1.5 plus 250. The only problem is I feel like that's all predicated on Lingo early finish. I think if Nate finishes him, it's going to be later on. Nate round 3 is pretty crap. $11. That's pretty average, man. Nate round 3 sub. Now that's good. That's very good. $51. Jesus. That could be a spot. Lingo's never been finished. That could be a spot. Under 2.5. Yeah, maybe. All right. Let's move on. Kurt Kwiatkowski. How big is BigSteve? Giant Polish. Pierogi checking in. I'm not that big, mate. It's more of a sarcastic name. They call me BigSteve for other reasons. Jonom Martin. Baba comes up short on fair few of her strikes. Yeah, she does, especially in the Grasso fight. She's not, like I said, she's going to be losing minutes on the outside, but her striking looked improved against Jessica Ai. Like, it was weird that she was getting taken down and losing minutes in the clinch against Ai in that fight, and then she ended up having the better boxing and winning round 3 with boxing, when I thought it would be the other way around. I thought Ai would be boxing her up, and Baba would be clinching her against the cage. But yeah, just weird. Women's MMA is just weird. It's all over the place. Alrighty, Holly Holm, Yana Santos. Yeah, this is a horrible fight. I started to tape it a bit so I can add something for the podcast, and I just stopped. I would still rather play Holly Holm personally at 42 years of age. Holly Holm by decision, only because Yana does the exact same thing. But I think Holly does it better. I think Caitlin Vieira, she's got more power and she can crack, whereas Yana Santos is going to throw out some meaningless volume, and I think Holly Holm can match her there. I think Yana's also quite hittable. Knocked out by Aldana. She got knocked out by Ladd. Got absolutely lit up by Renault in that round 3. I had money on her there, and I was sweating bullets. Her nose was broken. Her face was swollen. So yeah, I'm still tossing up between Santos, Holly Holm KO, Holly Holm decision. But Holly Holm KO is just so horrible. Such a bad price. I'll be surprised if she KOs her with anything other than maybe like a head kick. But yeah, I think I'll still retape it and go from there. But yeah, horrible fight. Jonah Martin will be a slow, tepid fight. Who knows, mate? Who knows what Yana's going to look like after pregnancy? I personally think she hasn't fought since 2021. I personally think she's more washed than Holly Holm. Like, the hitability and getting knocked out, she just looks awful now. I'm actually surprised she beat Caitlin Vieira. But yeah, let's move on. Alrighty. Marlon Vera versus Corey Sandhagen. At least we end the day on an amazing fight. What do I have here? I do have. I mean, I do lean Vera here, mostly because of the price. I don't think there's much value on Corey. I think he's been a little bit underwhelming in these 5-round fights against a high level of competition. He looked like an amazing fighter, and then against Frankie, Moraes, Assunção, what do they got in common? Just a bunch of washed fighters. And Sterling, TJ Dillashaw, Peter Yan, and even Song Yadong, all underwhelming, all quite underwhelming results. Really should have beat a washed, past his prime TJ Dillashaw. Destroyed his knee in the first round, busted him up with a really bad cut, still couldn't finish. Peter Yan, it is what it is. He was competitive while Yan was making his reads, and after that, kind of ran away with it. I laid the juice on him against Song. I thought he was going to be a lot better striker, a lot more diverse, a lot more volume. I thought Song was going to gas, wouldn't be able to find him. And yeah, it was 2-2 going into the 5th round, and he just went with his wrestle-heavy game plan and couldn't get Song down, and Song was stealing rounds with the more eye-catching shots. His volume dropped as well, which is the best thing about him. Once his volume drops, what does he have? He doesn't hit hard. He's got bad wrestling. He's not athletic. He's not explosive. And that was a bad look. Who knows how round 5 would have ended up. He got dropped. He got taken down in round 4 when Song was bloodied up and gassed. I'm sure he would have won round 5, but I was sweating. I was sweating badly. If Song doesn't get cut up there, that's a very, very competitive fight. I'm sure Song is improving as well. But yeah, that's my thoughts. On the other side, I think Vera is still doing the same stuff. Still giving up minutes early. But I think he's improving. He's now 30 years old. He's in his prime. You can see he loves the 5-round aspect. He's growing in confidence. Oh man, what's in my throat? When you have the confidence that you can finish the fight at any time, No, man, I was just dying there. My bad. Yeah, when you have the confidence that you can finish a fight at any point like Vera does, you fight really well. Obviously, giving up minutes is not great. But you look at the opponents. Rob Font, the volume Rob Font threw was insane. Sandhagen doesn't throw that much. The output, the power on Rob Font strikes a lot harder, and Vera just didn't react at all. Dominic Cruz has that tricky foot movement. Yeah, he's a little bit past his prime. He's not as durable as he used to be. But he's smart. He's got a good IQ. Whenever he got dropped, he knew how to get up and throw. I think his wrestling is a lot better than Sandhagen's, so his takedowns will come a lot easier. Just Vera's still doing good. He's dangerous. I always used to underestimate his power. I used to think he was knocking out and finishing bums. But he's kind of developing this touch of death, one punch KO power. Really good jiu-jitsu, which we haven't seen. He can still be taken down, but yeah, I just think it's more of a value play here. I think this is going to be a close fight, so I don't understand the massive juice on Sandhagen. I mean, I get it, because you should have the more volume, etc., etc. But yeah, I just think Vera's going to hit harder. He's not going to slow down. He's going to have the constant pressure. If Corey Sandhagen comes out there and grapples, I think Vera can threaten with elbows and submissions. He's not going to slow down. He's going to keep pressuring. If Sandhagen's output drops, like in the Song Yadong fight, I think it's going to be a close fight. Do The only thing I played here is I played Sandhagen round 1. No, pardon me. I played Sandhagen 1 takedown. It's the third time I went to the well with that play on the same bookie. I hit Makachev 2 takedowns and Nelson 1 takedown, a juice, in the recent times. And this one I don't feel as comfortable in, just because Sandhagen's wrestling is so bad. He won like 1 takedown against Song out of like 5 or 6 or whatever it was. So I only put $1,000 to win 460, which is not even a unit. But yeah, I think that's the only thing I like here. I thought about the overs. The overs are juiced. I thought about the Vera no scorecards. I don't know. I don't like it. I'm passing there too. It's just a tough fight, tough competitive fight. If I was going to play Corey, I'll probably play him by decision. He's fighting the most durable guy here that he's ever seen, probably, other than Peter Yan. Yeah. Vera by decision, probably quite good value there. $6.50. I like that. And Corey by decision is just not a good price, but that's what I would play if I was playing anything. Yeah, I might end up with just a bunch of different options. Cheetah no scorecards, Cheetah decision, small, Corey Sandhagen decision. Or maybe I just pass. I don't know. It's a good fight. I can't get a read. I just have 1 takedown. I just think within 5 rounds, Corey Sandhagen will get 1 takedown. So yeah, that's all I have. Not much on this card. The story of my 2023, I think the bookies are much better this year, or either that, or I don't know. I'm just being a little bit more too disciplined. But I'll run through the card quickly. Salvador Altamirano, going back and forth. I feel like it's going to be a close fight, so pass. CJ Vergara, I think he gets a finish at some point. $800 on him rounds 1 and 2. Trevin Giles, Parsons, pass. Steven Peterson, submission or decision at plus money, half a unit, to win just over half a unit. Daniel Pineda, lots pass. I think Pineda live early. Chidi Derive, pass. Look to live at Derive if Chidi survives, doesn't knock him out. Perez, Carp, this is the one I have to look into more deep. Lee Barber, easily or pass. Shit show fight. I've got half a unit on Lingo at the early line. I think he's going to have some success early. It's inevitable. Look to jump out live during that. Holly Holm, Yana Santos, haven't finished tape. Might come around to Holly Holm by decision. Malamera Sandhagen, I have Sandhagen 1 takedown at just a little bit worse than -200, 1,000 to win 430. Yeah, that's it. Look to live bet it. Like I said, I leaned Cheetah. If the line kept going in Sandhagen's direction, I would have played Cheetah. But yeah, at the moment it isn't. So I think it's going to be a close fight. I think rounds 4 and 5. Vera is very difficult to deal with. Not because he drops people more often later on, but his output actually picks up then too. So yeah, not much to clamor on about. What are my favorite bets? I really like this Steven Peterson submission or decision. Plus money, I like that. I think that's quite decent. And yeah, what else can I say? I like the CJ Vergara round 1 and 2. Almost a pick 'em. I think he can look massive value. And hopefully good live betting opportunities. And hopefully we cash. That's the main thing. Whether you have a lot of bets or on not a lot of bets. Main thing is you make profit, and yeah, we end March with a bang. I don't think I'm going to be ending March with a bang unless there's a lot of live bet opportunities. I'm up 750 on Cage Warriors. I threw it away on Camacho and LFA. Stupid bet. I put 500 on Camacho. In my Discord, I wrote, he's probably going to give up his back straight away, and he did. I hate when I'm right sometimes. But on PFL, I got a juiced under 1.5 parlay, which is going to hit. And I might play some, under 1.5 in the Powell fight. I've got that female chick, Givez, whatever her name is. So yeah, hopefully that hits. And then little bit of profit on UFC. Hopefully some good live bets and just a modest match. But yeah. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Good luck on your bets. If you've tuned in for all the podcasts, thank you very much for the support. Other than that, good luck and have a good weekend.